I'm Tejas, I'm the Managing Director at Tally, and I've been at this for about 15 years now. Tally is a company that makes business management software for small and medium businesses. We started in India about 86. It's been 39 years now. And our aspiration is to serve every entrepreneur across the world. If I look at the world pre-Tally, one is timing, of course. Timing mattered. The PC revolution was on at the time when we started. But there were many companies. We certainly weren't the first company to make an accounting product, but we've ended up becoming the largest company that did make the accounting product. And I think that what we get in our soul, I feel, is that we understand how small businesses or entrepreneur-driven businesses work. And we're really willing to go down to what we call go down to the wire and make technology that works for them. So for example, at Tally, most people don't know this about us. We write our own database, we write our own math routines, we write our own language, actually called TDL, on which the application is written. So there's a lot of hidden stuff when it comes to Tally. And I think that a world pre-Tally would have been a scattered market, but a world post-Tally is most people sort of use Tally to manage that. One thing that Tally gets about India that nobody else does, this is a hard one. I think two things. One is hard. The first one is that India is a very open to try new technology market. I've not met a single person, no matter the age, whether they're 16 or whether they're 60 or whether they're 80, who's not willing to try something when it comes to technology. I think there's one big misconception on that side. I think the second one that really stands out is that people think of India as an affordability market. I think about it completely differently. I think in my experience in the last 15 years, India is an aspirational market. So when we sell the product at a very high price point. We still outsell competition quite a bit. And we sell on the idea of aspiration. We don't sell on the idea of affordability. So I think these are the two that stand out to me. So on the AI front, very honestly, we're figuring it out. I think it's early days. It's showing a lot of promise. We're running multiple experiments internally with our customers as well to try and figure out what we could do uniquely and what we could do with great promise. We think in terms of landscape and what opportunities that landscape shift really provides. So for us, because we are willing to go down and make all the really core parts which no application company should be doing, we think that we can build a software that connects businesses to their ecosystems. It's not a first dream. It's not that others have not dreamt it before, but we just think that we can do it in a way that serves literally every single entrepreneur in the world. That's our desire. So today we serve just under 30 lakh businesses. We'd love to do 30 crore businesses, in the next decade or decade and a half maybe. But that's the dream that we're building. So some of the basics are very easy to imagine. You have mobile first, you have voice first, you have some of those aspects of how you engage with the product. The second is that if you look at India today, you look at even the world today, the starting place at which most businesses automate ends up becoming much later than we feel they should. We think there's a large opportunity to serve the mass of kiranas, pharmacies, restaurants. We think there's a large opportunity, giving the India example. Similarly, we are very ambitious about the rest of the world. Today we are very prominent in the Middle East. We are ambitious in Africa, Southeast Asia, and we'll figure out the rest of the world as well. But even in these markets, we see so much green space to serve their version of the kirana or the pharmacy their version of the small manufacturer, the small trader, any entrepreneur-driven, kind of business. So we think that that's probably one big area. The second one is that for these businesses, just like we changed the landscape of accounting, 30 years ago, inventory 20 years ago, and compliance 10 years ago, we think there's a lot more that can be done. So many other areas that we'd love to get into as well. I think it's just rooted in this one statement that my granddad and our founder had made, that when you sell something to someone and you're taking money for it, make sure that you're giving way more value than you're actually taking. I think that is a deep-rooted philosophy that we work on. So every customer that we try to engage with, and it's not easy. It's not easy when your company grows. It's not easy when new folks come in. It's not easy when you're selling through partners that you work with. There are so many more people in the equation. But we really try to make sure that we're giving more value than we take. That's been the culture that's helped us build right, and we've not always gotten it correct all the time. But that's something that we try to remind ourselves of. In India's history, it is probably the easiest time to run and start a business. Highly encourage entrepreneurship overall. I think that at this moment, we are so blessed and so lucky to have an ecosystem and environment that allows us to dream bigger than what was even perceived possible, 10 or 15 years ago. So anyone who's joining the entrepreneurial or taking that plunge into their entrepreneurial journey, I would really probably push the individual to think about changing the world. It's very possible, and it's very possible to think about it from today's India. An exciting problem for me is, I think, some of the new technology that we're building out. I'm very keen that the world gets to know the depth of engineering talent that India actually has. I think it's our job to figure out how to communicate this better. We are genuinely one of the handful of companies that have the technical talent to build things like a database. Very, very few companies build it, and very few companies have scaled it. I would love for the world to know the kind of technical talent that we can bring out and the kind of value that we can bring out. I don't know if it's a problem, but it's an exciting thing to. I would love to be able to build one of the largest technology companies out of India. Very much possible, but that's what I would love to do. If we need to solve problems for Bharat, if we need to get to Viksit Bharat, building products and not services, building products will be very, very critical. One way to simply think about this is at the PHU level, at that point, PHC, which is that public health center, which is the last mile that will deliver your vaccines, your basic primary and maybe even secondary healthcare. If we needed to get it to that population scale and India's population scale, it is critical to think from a product perspective. Which means that we need an environment that cultivates product companies. For this, there are two parts. One is product companies are, unlike service companies, capital intensive in some way or form. If you want deep innovation to take place, it does take time. And I think that the government can seriously incentivize this by encouraging or doubling down on the R&D benefits that they give out. So MeitY does give out R&D benefits. They used to. They do need to reinstate it, and I think double down on it. I think it can make a tremendous impact in the ecosystem. That's the first recommendation. The second one is that product companies, by law, are not recognized as a separate category. And this has far-reaching implications. We have somehow managed to get to the scale that we have, but for companies that are starting off, they will find it difficult. One simple case I will take is the product and the services companies are treated the same way. Services companies, by nature, are one-on-one. They don't necessarily involve a seller in the middle. But if you take the starting vision of the product, where I'm supposed to get to every last PHC in Muradabad, in Saharanpur, in Sangli, in name a town, name a city, in Gokak, you need people who will reach out to the last mile to be able to help them set up, help them get serviced, so on and so forth. As a direct company, it's very difficult to imagine doing that at scale. Just putting your solution on the website may not get you to that last mile either. And building a seller network is not the nature of services, but it is the nature of product. And because you're treating product and services the same way, there are taxation burdens that come up on product companies like us, which make it difficult to build a large ecosystem. We've gone through the pain over the last 39 years to set it up, but for anyone new, if the government does believe that the ecosystem is important to create, this is the second recommendation that I would have. Classify the product and the services separately and help create an appropriate tax structure that recognizes the unique nature of a product as different from services. I think brand Bharat has an opportunity on maybe two legs. I think the first leg is on trust. We are in a world which is seeking trusted partners, and I feel that we have a very unique opportunity to build brand Bharat on this idea that we can be trusted and we do business right. It's not going to be an easy journey, but that's probably number one. And my aspiration for brand Bharat would be that we are not a follower but an innovator. I feel like, very honestly, I don't care if the word is jugaad or if the word is something else. I know language does matter, but I would love for us to come off as an innovation center for the world. There is a distance to travel, but even in the next 20 years, if the next generation or the generation after picks up that confidence and ambition to make a difference at the global scale, that would be amazing to see.